Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you find yourself today. It's another beautiful day. And I want to take this opportunity to welcome you to Analyze This. On Analyze This, as you all know, we don't entertain insult on this platform. We discuss issues. And today we're going to continue with the discussion on the number 12 and Kwesi Nyantakyi's media interviews. I know the interviews are done with because he was doing that for his political ambitions, but we're still going to do the discussion of that particular uh, uh, incident. So once again, I want to welcome all of you to today's Analyze This. It's going to be an interesting one. Those of you who were not able to join us for the previous ones, we're not going to go back, as I said last week, to the videos, but we are going to continue where we left off last week. So if you really want to get the full video, or if you really want to get the whole discussion from the beginning to this point, you can go to YouTube and check it out, or you can go to the AfriWeek page on Facebook. You can get all the previous videos on AfriWeek's page on Facebook, as well as AfriWeek's page on YouTube. You type in AfriWeek Media on YouTube, you're going to see all of our videos. So without much ado, I want to emphasize, as we always do. I know we do that in Leadership Academy. We want to do that here as well, because all of our platforms are meant to educate, empower, and equip ourselves. So we are going to do that here as well. Creativity and inventions are not by the color of one's skin. Again, creativity and inventions are not by the color of one's skin, but by an educated mind. So we encourage ourselves to educate ourselves in order for us to be able to create and invent. If you want to join the discussion, I'm going to put the link on Facebook. You can click on that link and be a part of the discussion. You can also share and invite other people to be a part of the discussion. Without much ado, I would have my co-prof to introduce himself, and we will set the ball rolling.
Yeah, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you be. My name is Kwesi from Pong, and I'm very happy to be a part of the discussion. So, thank you.
You're welcome, Prof. I'm trying to be like you. You see the beard, I'm trying to grow it big like you. I like the look. Alrighty, so without much ado, we're going to continue with the video from where we left off last week. And as I said the other time, we're going to be doing that in segments. So we'll be pausing and be commenting on it. Prof, I sent you the rules and regulations of the FIFA document on gifts. I sent it through email, so you can check it out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can do that later, because we're not going to talk about that today. So.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Until like you want to say, also the anti-Christ corruption. Say that, but Ocean, or the Pesca man. The Pesca. Oh, yeah. I said, maybe, how much I gave because we in fact 150,000. Oh, okay, dear. So, what to be as I do, we are see, baby, we are see, baby, you didn't go. Sadia, Anasi Organa, maybe Nibia. Only Bobia or yes, Edman over the Acano. US, UK, Europe, and even Africa. Until the human said, what's why anti-corruption crusader. But Ocean, or the Pesca Mano. The oil the Pesca. Oh, yeah. I said, maybe, how much I did discuss it. $150,000 every time. Was a moment, akwai mame money, me modi that, and never body. Me colleague, and I'm in any executive Adam Tyler or Fikamali. Okay. Or no, or Barney chain. And then me call Parmesan, lawyer, not radio. Okay. I don't catch us an answer, a cat, me case in once a match. No, you're the student. It's also a physical to do say, with the bar. Okay, I don't know, call lawyer Kwame. Yes, me go in the field, me not in the field, me call order. Or say, Mr. Ho no more area where I say ho. Okay. Baby, Mr. Chamatin eteno. I say ho, the whole is in Westland. I say ho. What do we call the field? Oh, about the field, I say, listen. When confess can say, Ambra. I just a blackmail. So, and that's demanded 150 through these people, through them. So if you are paid, me 100,000. You try 100,000, almost say answer.
Ready, Prof.
Mm-hmm.
You had the so I would want you to start so I can post the link on Facebook. So if you can start with your comments on what we've heard so far.
So far what I've heard is hearsay. Every individual has a right to defend himself, herself, like I've always been saying. So if you come to me and say so and so came to me and demanded $150,000 to sort of kill a story, yeah, I understand that in the journalistic world, such things do happen. So if where you come to evidence? Me and say so and so, where is your evidence? You see, you've mentioned somebody's name. In our country called Ghana, the person who is asking for a bribe and the one who is giving the bribe is ostensibly guilty of the same crime and they can be prosecuted. So I'll call on the authorities to actually call Mr. Nyantakyi and actually investigate this further. He's a man who understands what is going on. If somebody came to me and demanded a bribe when I'm going to that meeting, I will actually record it or find a way to get evidence that this is what these guys are doing. You know, and personally, until you can give me evidence to the facts of what you're saying, I will not believe you. Because anybody at all can come knowing the business that you are in and knowing what is going on. Anybody can come and say, hey, I heard this, and this, and he's saying that give me this and I'll pay and quench the story. So there should be a credible evidence. He's mentioned some names, and those names need to be further investigated. And if they really want to prove to the people of Ghana that this guy is in business for himself to make money, then they should have evidence and prosecute that issue. Even if they want to do it in the court of public opinion and not in the court of law, any unbiased mind will want to see that you are not just talking and that you have something to back your talk on. So far I've heard this person say this person said that. That doesn't prove anything. That does not mean it is not true either. But the point is, where is your proof? The guy saying that you took bribes and did this and did that. has proof. Where is your proof? And that's my take on that.
Alrighty, your take on where is your proof, which is a good point. So I'm going to take it from this angle. If I happen to be innocent of an accusation, and you approach me to request 150,000 on a movie, according to him, a movie he did with him being accused of collecting bribe or collecting a gift against the ethics of his position. And he claims it is false. Throughout the narration, as we could hear him say, it is not true. He's lying, blah, 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 and all this stuff. And if you're lying on me, why do I have to pay you money to stop lying on me? Because in the first place, there is no truth in your accusation. So, which means I'll be more than happy to take you to court for you to prove. Secondly, if I know that I'm not guilty, if I know I'm innocent, if I know you're lying on me and my hands are clean, why would I even have to pay anything for you to stop showing it? As a matter of fact, this is my take. He might be different from me, but for me, knowing that you don't have a case against me and that whatever you are putting out there is a fabricated lie, I will be more than happy for you to show it, or I'll be more than happy for you to bring it out, because that is going to be my cash cow. I'm going to sue the heck out of you, make some huge money. And I'm not just going to sue you, I'm going to sue BBC because BBC was proud of it. I'm going to sue CNN. As a matter of fact, I'm going to sue almost all the platforms or the media giants who aired this program, period. And so I'm not going to stop you from airing something that is going to benefit me financially at the end of the day. And I know somebody might be thinking, okay, what about your name? Because if he airs it, your name is being tarnished. Guess what? If I go to court, that clears my name off the video and off the perception people have about me. So that is even the more reason why I would want him to air it so I can go to court. I'll take that opportunity to go to court. And when I'm vindicated in court, it settles all matters because it clears out the perception, the doubt people have, the perception of corruption of him will be cleared once and for all. And then whatever you are putting out there, the video you're putting out there would also be cleared. And then we can prove that indeed you're a liar or indeed you're lying. So for me, paying the 100,000 and being bold enough to come sit on national television and talk about the fact that I paid him 100,000. For me, I in my little mind, that alone tells me that you're guilty of whatever is being shown or whatever is in the video. Because if you're innocent, you're not going to pay a dime. You are, as a matter of fact, going to encourage them to show it. That's my opinion. And I'm going to sue the heck out of you to make money. And I'm not going to stop you from me making money off you. So that alone beats my mind. And again, as we said, we couldn't get the interview or the probe further to ask questions about him paying the money and the motive behind paying the money and why did he even pay the money in the first place and all the yada yada stuff. So for me, the second part is he was doing this media tour to kind of clear up his image to enable him seek the mandate of his constituency to vote for him as a member of parliament. Again, you had the guts to come sit on national television, seeking the mandate of the people to represent them in parliament. Should be a man of dignity. I thought they call them honorable in the parliament. It means you have to be a man of dignity.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a man of dignity and you're telling the whole world that I paid a bribe in order to save my face, and yet you still want me to give you my mandate to go represent me in the house of honorables, it doesn't add up to me. It does not add up to me. So I believe that whoever his advisory team is or was didn't do a good job. They did not counsel him well on this interview. That's my take. Because you cannot come sit on a national television and accept or proclaim that you paid bribe. And so if you proclaimed on national television that you paid bribe, how can you convince me that what was in the video, the documentary, is not true? Because you're telling me you're an honest man, and this man is trying to taint your image. And yet you paid a bribe. But you want me to believe that whatever is in the video is not true. You didn't take that bribe in the video, but you're willing to pay a bribe to kill a lie. It doesn't add up to me. Probably in my stupid opinion, that's how I'm seeing it, but it doesn't make sense to me. If anybody has a different opinion or if anybody has a better explanation, you can chip it in. You're more than welcome to put it on, and we'll discuss that as well. Prof, do you have anything to add before we move on to the next?
I am really, really surprised that you see how we are poking holes in the narrative and in the argument being made to his assertions concerning this very important issue. It didn't even register on the radar of most Ghanaians, believe me, because I've been asking some of my friends, some of my colleagues and classmates. It didn't even register. And that's the society that we live in. If you have somebody who is a very influential public social commentator interviewing a very important personality within a sport, that is, people have so much emotional attachment to, and there is no pushback. Somebody says something, puts something, makes like big statements, and there is no pushback. Nothing. You just listen.
It's statements that borders on integrity.
Statements that the courts are supposed to actually interrogate. The police, I can assure you, the police have heard what is going on. I can assure you, local law enforcement, local prosecutors, stuff like that, have heard about this. they have watched interviews of it, because like you said, this is not the only interview that he's granted. And he is bold enough to come on air and say, I gave somebody $100,000, which is a lot of money, to kill a story. I paid a bribe to kill an unfair, an unreal story which lies totally about me. And the person with the microphone who is doing the interview does not even ask follow-up questions, simple follow-up questions.
Looking at what's going on, that's again my opinion. I don't see this as an interview. I see it as an opportunity for him to come talk about the issue.
That's exactly what I said the
Yeah.
first time. I said that a lot of water has passed under the bridge. This guy can sue to clear his name, especially
And this
against
is not
the
the
BBC.
only place he's been to for interviews. He's been on other platforms, sat with other journalists, and they still did not probe. So I don't know if it was some kind of a program put in place just to offer him a platform to come speak and present issues as he sees it, or it was really an interview granted him by those radio and TV stations, because it looks like the pattern here was the same everywhere he went.
That's why I'm taking this with a whole big sack of salt. I think it was pre-programmed to give the guy a platform to elicit sympathy from people who will not actually interrogate the issues that he's talking about. Because the laws on the book prohibits you from giving a bribe and prohibits other people from taking a bribe from you. So like it said earlier, if you are lying about me, why would I pay money to stop you from lying? You know, and then why would the interviewer not ask this simple question? Why is it that you have not sued? Why is it that you have not taken this matter up when it can actually bring you a lot more money than just coming here to talk? So I am more, look, anybody in his position can say anything. I'm more concerned with the people interviewing him and the authorities that can actually take this up and kill the veracity of the story once and for all. It seems nobody cares. Believe me, that's how I'm feeling right. Because he's making blanket statements that impugn the integrity of even the authorities that are supposed to take such matters up and actually investigate it. You know,
That's another dimension you've brought in. So
yeah,
he's brought an issue of bribery to the fore, and nobody is talking about it. You know, the authorities who are supposed to be looking into this particular issue are not talking about it, and people who are supposed to. Can you hear me?
yeah.
Oh, okay. And people who are supposed to be anti-corruption agencies and all this stuff are not saying anything about it. It's been a couple of weeks now since he came up with this allegation of bribery, and again, nobody's talking about it. So that's an interesting point you've actually raised.
That's the part that really bothers me. It seems we have normalized the ability of hearing like stories like this, and we just go, "Oh, it's nothing. There's nothing. Nobody cares." People are being paid to do this kind of job. the reason why investigative journalism is critical to our development is this attitude of those that we actually use our taxpayers' money to pay for their livelihood, don't do the job that they are supposed to. This is a clear-cut case for the CID to take her, because the guy, he's been on so many TV stations, so many radio stations, talking about the same exact thing. Oh, these people said I've done this and that, and this and that, and I gave them a bribe to kill the story. Just pick him up and interrogate him, find out from the people what is the evidence. Because this is a crime. And he's going on live television and radio stations and giving you evidence that he actually committed a crime. You see? And I don't believe it to begin with, that, like you said, if you are not guilty of an accusation, why are you paying for it? But I also don't believe it simply because you just mentioned somebody's name and that you went to his house.
Oh, it could also be that those people saw an opportunity to extort money from him.
Exactly.
So they also took advantage of that. And those people are still alive. They're not dead. So they can also be approached, and they can also be called into by the authorities to answer those questions. You know, but as you said, nobody is responding to any of these. But again, just before I forget, I think we have to give kudos to the constituency he was going to contest for the seat of the member of parliament. I believe they voted him out, or they did not vote for him. Let me put it that way. You know,
Nana,
which I think
one is an issue of. I personally, I don't believe in our electoral system anymore.
Okay.
But to put it bluntly, I don't. It's an issue of who has more clout, who may have more money. It's not a fair system, and I
Okay.
really don't believe in it.
Maybe I'm taking it of the face value. You know, at least
Yes,
the people
I mean,
realize that.
I saw a video in which this guy was ostensibly very upset over the results that came out, because he probably thought with his name recognition and what he's been able to achieve. But it is not every single individual who is going to buy the cock and bull story we are being told. You know, and it seems that people in his constituency didn't buy it. Because if you have this amount of money, okay, let me play the devil's advocate. This is a story that you don't want to come out. So, because it might tarnish your image with some people. We have a saying that literally means where your name will be tarnished to, you might not be able to go to every individual and then explain yourself. So maybe you want to catch and kill the story. You had the price tag was 150, and you already brought $100,000. Why not 150,000? You sure have that money. You sure have that money. The bribes that you are being accused of and the ability to pay for this is clear. You have the ability to pay for it. Why take $100,000 when they asked for 150, and you actually was willing to give more than 50%? I mean, about 70%. You've already given that. Nana, do you see the angle I'm coming from?
I
It's
really get you.
150,000. You already gave 70% of that. Why not the extra 50? You've divided into 3, and you have already paid 2/3. Why not the 1/3? So it still beats my imagination that him saying that is not my problem. The fact that there is no pushback when this is clearly, let's say it is true that some people came to you I want to see who sent those people. I want to see those people having evidence that it was Anas and his group that approached them for you to come and pay them. And due to the little that we all know about sports administration and everything in the country, Anas will have evidence that you have more than $150,000 before he approaches you. If he's in business to make money, this story could fetch him $2 million. And he knows you got more than $2 million. Why is he asking for 150,000? So I personally don't believe it, but I will want. You remember I was telling you, we were talking about last week that the authorities should make sure this case is prosecuted.
Yes, yes.
Because sports, especially football, is so important to Ghanaians. So important. People's livelihoods depend on this. People's happiness depends on this. And what's the result of all this corruption within our sports fraternity? We've seen the devastation it has put on our sport. Please, something needs to be done about it. It is not really an issue of Kwesi Nyantakyi against Anas. It's an issue of Ghanaians wanting to see where their funding for sports go to. So this issue needs to be investigated, interrogated, and prosecuted so that it will serve as a deterrent to other people, and then it will clear the minds of Ghanaians as to whether these things actually do take place or they do not. The circumstantial evidence is just too much, and we are pushing it into the psyche and the narrative of our people that, oh, nothing is going to happen, and clearly nothing is happening. And that
it's been a couple of weeks now.
That bothers me more than what is being asserted. You know, that bothers me more.
Yeah, that's for me the most important aspect of this whole interview. I mean, right there and then, after the interview, he should have been invited by the authorities to start probing and start questioning, and start investigating into the accusation of the $100,000 bribe. Because, like you said, it's a crime, and somebody is putting up a crime in the open, and nobody cares. Nobody, it's bothered to look into it, you know. And that is where it like you said, it beats my mind. Yeah, somebody's he's admitted on national television in the public that, yes, I committed a crime. I paid a bribe of $100,000, and nobody cares. You know, so it for me, it tells volumes of the attitude and the willingness of those in authority to fight against corruption. Like you said, it's become the norm. It's nothing. It's a norm. You know, I was talking to somebody the other time about school placements, and he was talking to me about the fact that, oh, they're supposed to pay some amount to some school authorities for them to be able to admit to their kids into the schools, and it was like it's the norm. So this person is budgeting. He's adding that cost to his yearly budget, because it's getting to the time where his daughter is about to go to school, you know, and as you said, it seemed to be the norm. So nobody really cares about it. Nobody wants to probe. Nobody wants to interrogate, you know. So that's where the problem is. It means that we're not serious as a nation to fight against corruption. Yeah, and apart from the authorities not even probing into the issue, but there are other agencies in Ghana. There are a whole lot of agencies who seem to be fighting against corruption, you know, and nobody talks about it. People are not angry enough to ask the government and ask the authorities to do something about this particular statement. And that is where, to me, is the problem. Because it's just like somebody comes out in the public to say that, last week I killed 2 people, and the person is still walking around and nobody cares. It is no different from that, because it's a crime. According to the status of Ghana, paying and receiving bribe is a crime. And so if the statutes tells us it's a crime and somebody comes out on air to say that, yes, I paid bribe and nobody talks about it, then where are we going as a nation? And for me, that is where my problem is. The nation should be calling for interrogation and investigation. The authorities should be up and doing. I mean, the nation should be angry. People should be calling for authorities to do the right thing. So and I think it's an opportunity for him coming out, is an opportunity for us to see how, or it makes us read the seriousness of our rhetorics of anti-corruption and what have you in the nation, if we're that serious. Because trust me, you cannot do this, or you can't come out and say this in the United States and go scot-free. You know, you cannot publicly come out and declare to the world in the United States that I took a bribe from a journalist, from a CNN journalist, or from ABC journalist, and nobody would talk about it, and nobody would question you.
Both you and the journalists are going to get prosecuted. At first, at least you're going to be indicted. At least you're going to be indicted.
You know, and it's been weeks. It's been weeks, and nobody's talking about it. And that is the sad part of it. That is the sad part of it. I intentionally made us talk about this part for people to realize the extent to which the whole nation is asleep as far as corruption is concerned.
Nana, you remember that I was in Ghana for a period of 5 years. It is not that people are actually asleep. It's that people are beating their heads against the bulwark, and they know that nothing is going to change.
I agree with you, but then there should be the discourse. Radio stations should be talking about it.
This is why I am so surprised
even the
that
bars,
journalists are not pushing back. Look,
I mean, those not pushing back, I get it. They've actually been paid, or they probably been paid, or they probably have been given the platform. They've probably gave the platform to him to come talk about his stuff without them interfering, or they don't even know their job. So we can find a slew of excuses for them. And some of them, I don't even know if they're really trained journalists, or they just got into the media by way of talking their way through. So with them, but the nation as a whole should be talking. Radio stations, people should call into radio stations. Even when you go to the bars, the nightclubs, wherever people congregate, people should be talking about it. The churches, the mosque, people should be talking about it and be pushing for it. You know, like I said, you can just say anything, put anything out there, and nobody cares. So what if he had sat on that radio station or TV station and said, I killed 2 people last night? Were they going to let him walk around without questioning him?
It's really bizarre. It's really, really bizarre. The way we now look at things is everything is bizarre to me, and it seems people have switched off because they have said it over and over and over and over again, and nothing happens. So everybody has coiled in and trying to live their own. Seriously, when you go home and you talk about some of these things, they will tell you to just mind your own business and live your life. And it is so sad. You know,
Anyway,
it's just sad. It's
all right,
just sad.
let's continue. We have a few more minutes to go. Let's continue. And
so you know, me not imagine you say I didn't. No, I said my own country. I'm in country that. Metro press release assembly CM. It's a book of 150,000 and that's demanded from you. Would you 100,000? 100,000. Emma, family chan. It is, I didn't buy any, I'm afraid I like Munkala, say, catch it. Family Cabrera. I think I will discard the Koyano. Muscle. Mexicana or more refund the amount, and then 20,000 or 10,000. Asempana make a trono. And that's $100,000 through the lawyer. No? Yes. As can I continue? Yes. Offer sick amount. Yes. Obviously, when I call bank, almost we need enough dollars and to say.
so this is the point where I am getting convinced that the platform was just given to him to defend his image. Listen to the journalist on who is supposed to be doing the probing, but rather adding to the story. The guy said, mentioned somebody's name who came for the money, but the journalist was saying, when ANALYZ came for your money.
Exactly.
And I'm going to play that portion again. This man mentioned somebody's name. He insinuated that somebody approached him in the name of ANALYZ. And the journalist made mention of ANALYZ's name and specifically said, ANALYZ came for your money. So for me, I'm getting convinced that the platform was given to this man just to come spew whatever he wants to put out there and just walk away without being interrogated. This, I don't see this as an interview. And as I said from the beginning, I miss our Kweku Sechiados and the Komla Dumors, where you can't sit before Kweku Sechiado and spew this and go scot-free. I mean, you're really gonna be hot on that seat. If you sit before Kweku Sechiado with this, you're really gonna be hot on that seat. You know, and I believe Kweku Sechiado should set up a journalism school and start training people to do interviews, because we don't have any. I'm sorry, but I probably might have not seen all of the journalists or the interviewers in Ghana, but so far the ones that I've encountered, I don't see interviewers, proper, serious minded interviewers.
This is propaganda. This is
yes.
pure propaganda. The guy defending his image didn't even mention analysis. He says he sent somebody to come to me, and you are saying when he came to you.
Right.
That is embellishment.
Yeah.
That's embellishment right there.
So it tells you he's not there to probe the whole
I don't
story,
know.
but he's there
We
to
are
add
both
to
not
it.
lawyers. We are not lawyers, and we don't have any expertise on the laws on what do they call that when you tarnish somebody's image?
Libel.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but this is a clear case to me as a lay person that he is making an accusation, you know, and whatever analysis, whatever he's doing, whatever his lawyers are doing, I hope they took notes. I hope they did.
Which is a good point, because this could fall under libel and defamation. Yep.
Exactly. And like I was saying from the beginning, the system and the powers that be, if indeed these are the sort of things that have been going on, they should compel ANALYZ to come to the fore and actually get the witnesses to prosecute this case. Unless they are complicit. Unless they are complicit. This thing is too important for us as a nation to just allow to be brushed under the bed. It borders on insanity to me. This is not right.
Yep. All right. Let's continue. And like I said, I'm going to repeat that section.
Imagine you say, I didn't know. I said, we won't catch her. I mean, catch her that. Metro press release. I said, Miss Yano. It's a who to 150,000 and that's demanded for me. Who to 100,000? 100,000. Emma, Papa Chan. I didn't buy any. I'm afraid I like Munkala. I said, catch it. Famisi Cabrebe. I did all this kind of coyano. Muscle. Mexicana or more refund the amount and 20,000 or 10,000. At some point, I make a trono. And that's about $100,000 through the lawyer. No?
So you heard that, and he was even trying to correct him.
Yeah,
you know, by saying,
and on
through
top
his
of it,
lawyer.
the person being interviewed is asking the interviewer, "Oh, I didn't tell you." This means they've been talking. They are friends. This is a biased interview.
Yeah.
That is the least I can say. It's a biased interview.
Yeah, like you said, it's a propaganda. So this
yeah,
is no interview.
You remember when you first sent me the video and I was watching it, and you asked me what do I think. I told you once I got to a certain point, I stopped watching it, because the moment they started talking personal about it, it's like me and you conspiring to pull something over somebody's eyes. That's what it is. This is backdoor chat between the two of them. This is not a serious interview to probe and get information. I don't see it as such. I do not see it as such. I didn't tell you about this, which means you guys have been talking consistently. There is familiarity between the two of you, which is fine. People interview their best friends and still get them irritated because they are asking serious questions.
Yep.
You know, this is not an interview. This is propaganda. That's the least I'm going to say. But I am still going to insist that it is the duty. You see, these things are able to continuously happen because those whom we pay to legally do things on our behalf fail to do so. Believe me, if this guy was aware that there could be consequences for making such blatant, blanket statements on live television, he might be not that comfortable and callously be making such statements on live television, which he knows is being recorded for posterity. Because this is not going anywhere. It's going to be with us for the next million years. If the stations are going to keep records of that, individuals are going to keep records of that.
And for me, I say he thinks he's clearing his image, but he's making more mistakes. And he's rather, for me, to somebody who thinks deeper, he's rather marrying and smearing his image.
It just tells clear or thinking individuals that there is no smoke without fire. There has to be some reason why you wanted to pay that money, because nobody parts with, and in where we come from, that's some serious money. Where we come from, that's some serious money. This is not chicken change. $100,000? Do you have $100,000?
I wish. I
That
wish.
is serious money. If he, and believe me, I believe he has more than that.
Of course, if he was able to part with 100,000, I mean, you're not gonna clean up your coffers to go pay for something you believe it's a
Which
lie,
you, like you
or
said,
to.
that this is an issue that you could have made money out of. Why are you
Oh
paying that?
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard on the different platform. I didn't want to bring that in because I did not verify it, but I heard on a different platform that he actually sued for defamation. He sued Anas for defamation. And after Anas produced the full tape, not the edited part, he produced the full tape, he dropped the case.
This has always been my issue, even when I'm talking to our friends or colleagues who challenge the veracity of the investigative journalism that Anas and other people actually do. The first thing they need to understand is that Anas cannot bring the whole thing. It will take days to watch a movie that tells such a story that takes place over a very long period of time. And the ethics of the trade is that Anas has to give the whole thing to the CID or to the authorities. And the authorities have a way of knowing if you have cut and paste. It's forensic evidence, and they have the expertise to. You don't see them come out and say, especially when the judge's issue came up. Believe me, if Anas did not provide the whole series of tapes, nobody was going to take that
No,
case.
but with the judge's issue, you're not talking about just mere men and women. You're talking about
Exactly.
people who know the law. I mean, these are intelligent people who know the law. So you just cannot tell them anything for them to take it.
You are
You know,
talking about this is just a movie. Seriously? And
it looks like we may not even have time to listen to the rest of the. So we
well,
probably might be giving our
I
closing
think
remarks.
next week we should watch a longer version and then break it into so that we know the trajectory where we're going.
Okay.
As a closing remark, this is what I'm going to say. Personally, I'm a lover of the sport. I played it in high school, I played it in college. And whenever the Black Stars was going to play, I will stop whatever I was doing. I mean, look at the time zones. We sometimes wake up at 2 a.m. just to watch our national teams play. Since Brazil, I've not watched a single match of the Black Stars. I vowed not to touch the Black Stars because I don't believe in what they do. And this Mr. Kwesi Nyantakyi is one of the main reasons why I did not watch. I have not watched the Black Stars ever since. Even on TV, I keep telling my classmates, you can't pay me to watch what is going on. And I lived in Ghana for a period of 5 years. I went to the stadium and I got more evidence that there is no need for me to even pay a penny to support Ghana football. I'm being very honest with you. And that sentiment runs a lot through the zeal with which Ghanaians used to follow our football teams is no longer there. Why? This is why it is imperative that the authorities should actually get to the bottom of this. Because there's a lot of money in football. And that money can self-sustain Ghanaian football if it is not getting into the wrong hands. So this issue is not about us. This issue is not about Kwesi Nyantakyi. This issue is plugging the holes, the kind of sieve that the money that comes from outside and even within the sports fraternity gets being taken away and being misused. If we truly say we love Ghana, this issue should not be allowed to die the way it is being allowed to die. You are only going to create more disaffected, disillusioned, cynical individuals like me. Because right now, if you talk about Ghana football, I'm very cynical. I don't want to hear. Thank you.
Wow. That's sad. That's sad. And like Prof said, it is not about an ass. It is not about Kwesi Nyantakyi. It's about the integrity of the game, Ghana football or Ghana soccer. And for that reason, the authorities and the people, the powers that be, should make sure the right thing is done. And I believe that this particular 100,000 bribe, this guy have thrown out there should be investigated. It should be probed, and whoever is found guilty should be brought to face the full rigors of the law. Because it is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. So in order to close the curtains for today, like Prof said, next week we're going to play a longer version, and then we would be able to do the segmentation, so it will help us do our discussions better. There's another video we would have to discuss. Probably would do that next week. I don't know if we can split the time into two and do.
We should be able to.
Yeah, do part of this and do part of that. That is another video which I believe it's very important for us to look at and to discuss as well. So next week we are going to devise a means of even if it means we have to do two separate shows by splitting the time, we are definitely going to do that. So we can bring, I thought we were going to be able to do that this week, but I couldn't get the time to discuss it with Prof earlier before getting into the studio today. So we definitely are going to do that next week. And without much ado, I want to thank all of you for investing your time into ANALYZ DIZ. Somebody was asking me about Leadership Academy. Leadership Academy is going to come back. We're not done with Leadership Academy, but we thought that certain issues
This
need
is
to be
a serious issue.
Right, that needs to be cleared, needs to be discussed as well. And Leadership Academy is going nowhere. It's definitely going to come back. We have a lot of programs in the pipeline. So just stay tuned, stay tight, and we are definitely going to make sure we serve you the right way. And once again, thank you so much for being a part of ANALYZ DIZ. And my name has always been Nana Osei Bonsu Jr. and my co-pilot
is Kwesi. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we hope to see you again next week, same time. Be rest assured that we're going to come here and give you